What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Between the Lines. And in this series, we're going through each division. We're giving you the win totals. We're giving you our pick to win the division. And look, if you missed the videos about the NFC, we went through every division. Make sure you go check those out. And once again, we will be bringing our buddy Raphael from MyBookie on here to give us some insight. We're going to be looking at the AFC South today. Crazy division. Could be in for some madness this year. But look, without further ado, let's get into it. Raphael, how's it going today? How we doing? Good?
It's going good. Let's see. We tackled the NFC. Now let's see what the AFC can bring us, because I really like a couple of teams in this AFC that I think they can represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
100%. Me too. Let's get into it with the team that you said. We'll get to that at the end. But a team you're high on this year in the Jacksonville Jaguars. 8.5. They're over under sitting at. I'm assuming you're going the over. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm going to over in this one. I'm not sold on the favorite in this division. We'll tackle that shortly. This Jaguar defense was really good last year, and Trevor Lawrence had one of his best seasons, and I think he has another great season this year. Granted, yes, they lost their running back who is now in the backfield of New Orleans, but I still the running backs are getting paid right now. We've seen 3 running backs get paid, but I'm always a big believer there's running backs all over the place. They just need their time to shine. So I'm not saying none of these running backs that got paid. Gibbs is the latest one. I'm not saying the guys are all horrible and all that, but running backs, I always say, is dime a dozen. So if they can get some type of success on the run game to help Trevor Lawrence, I think this Jaguar team continues to move forward. Great season last year. I'll take the over at 8.5. Lane only $1.25 over at MyBookie. I'll lay the Jaguars.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting line. I agree with you 100% with the running back situation. The two, and I believe, I forget his first name. He's a stud. He's from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
Running backs are replaceable unless you're the Christian McCaffreys and Bijan Robinsons of the world. You know what I mean? So I agree with you there. I love Liam Cohen here. Trevor Lawrence, to me, is the biggest question mark. Yes, he had a good season last year. Obviously, when it comes to the big games, he hasn't always performed. Like I said, I mean, this team, in terms of going and winning the AFC or going to the Super Bowl, they go as far as Trevor Lawrence takes them. But in terms of this number at 8.5, I have them going under. I have them at 8 wins. I don't necessarily see 9 or 10 wins on the schedule, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I assume they're going to flirt around the 8, 9, 7 range. I have them just going under. You like them out going over. But let's get to the Texans, because you mentioned them when you were talking here about the Jags and how you're not sold on them. They're over under sitting at 9.5. Raphael, tell me why you're not sold on the Texans this year. I mean, is it because of CJ Stroud?
Yes. I mean, their defense is not just good, not just great, but ugly. I mean, it is fantastic. But sooner or later, everyone has film on that defense for what we saw last year. You know what else they had? Film on another horrible season from CJ Stroud as well. I think people are starting to realize how you can beat this Texans defense. Perfect example. Look at the Chicago Bears in their defense, when they racked up the Super Bowl, when they crushed New England. Their defense kind of struggled the season after that. We seen it with the Baltimore Ravens when they won a Super Bowl with their powerful defense. People have film. They have 17 games on how to pick apart that defense. It's nothing new. They didn't bring anyone exciting to add to their defense like the Rams have. Yes, their defense is good, great, ugly. But it's all about CJ Stroud. I don't think they go 10 wins. And the public's betting it. The over is at minus 147. Give me the plus $1.25 on the under on this one.
Look, here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much film you have on this defense. It was historically good last season. You said it, ugly. These guys are running like a bat out of hell. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. The way they attack the football is so fun to watch. I mean, D'Amico Ryan has these guys fired up every single week. Absolutely love this defense. But look, you said it. CJ Stroud is obviously the biggest question mark. I mean, people were calling for his job at the end of last season. I mean, the thing is, it was always a lot of talk around the offensive line, and they did go out and they did get some pieces for that offensive line. So I do expect a little improvement from this offense. I mean, because this offense was terrible last year. And they do have a relatively easy schedule. This division is gettable. We'll talk about the Colts. We'll talk about the Titans.
He scored 295 points last year. 200. Now they've been 300. That's like my best score, like in some of the Atari games back in the day that I was playing. This is just awful offense, and sometimes you're going to need some points, unless the Texans are going to win 10-3, a bunch of 10-3, 10-6 SEC type of numbers. I can't put my money on the over. I just can't.
It's fair enough, fair enough. But this defense won them so many games last year, by like single-handedly. You know what I mean? So are we going to see a repeat of that this year? I'm not sure. I like them going over 9.5. I'm going to tell you in a little bit why I like them winning the division. But look, I expect a better year from CJ Stroud. We know what he's capable of. Yes, he was terrible last year, but we've seen flashes of CJ Stroud. We know what he could do. And like I said, they beefed up that offensive line, which is huge because it was terrible last year. So give me the over on the 9.5. We're disagreeing on this one here. But I mean, I guess it is the question mark is CJ Stroud. If he plays good, they're going over this number. If he doesn't, then they're going under. So, but let's move to the Colts, a team that surprised everyone last season in the beginning of the year, and Danny Dimes went down. And they fell off a cliff here. The over-under sitting at 7.5. Raphael, tell me what you like with the Colts here. You like them going over? You like them going under?
The juice over at my bookie is now minus 141. And we were thinking about, do we move it to 8.5? I miss the good old days when I was in Vegas setting odds and stuff like that. You know what we used to have? 7.5, 8.5. We used to have 8s and 6s where you can, get off on that 7.5 if you're buried on the over money, like they're probably like we are right now at the minus 141 on the over on Indianapolis. I like the over on this one. I'm going to lay the juice. I said it last time against the NFC, and I'll say it right now in the AFC. Sometimes this juice is worth the squeeze. I like the Colts in this one because if I like the under in the Texans, someone's going to have to win some of these games in this division, and I think it's the Colts win some games. I think they beat Houston at least once on this one, so I'm going to take the over at 7.5.
That's fair. I mean, I'm a big believer that when Danny Dimes was in last year, he was overperforming. Now he comes back, and they didn't really add much pieces to this team. They did trade Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce is probably going to have a breakout year. They paid him a bag.
Yeah.
You expect to see a heavy dose of Alec Pierce this year. They didn't really do much to this defense. I'm not really high on this team in general, honestly, in terms of just on paper. So I have them going under. I have them at 7 wins. I'll take the plus money as well. Give me that. Let's move on to the last team in this division, Raphael, that has a new coach in Robert Saleh. The Titans are at 6.5. I was honestly surprised when I saw this number. I thought it'd be at like 5.5, maybe even a little lower, considering the season they had last year. But like I said, they did bring in a new coach, a completely new system, and this is year 2 of Cam Ward. And first of all, before you give me an over-under here, what do you think of Cam Ward? Like, do you think he's gonna have a good year? What are you seeing from him?
I mean, they did improve the offensive line, and he was running for his life pretty much half the time he was back there. So if the offensive line can protect him and then he can run the ball, then I think he has an okay season. At 6.5 from a 3-team win last year to putting up a 6.5, and then you're only laying 3 nickels on the under minus 115. I'm gonna say they're gonna be improved. I think they're gonna be better. They're gonna be competitive. I just don't see 7 wins coming out of Tennessee. I'm still taking the under, but I can see them 5, maybe even 6 wins this year. I think they can win 5, 6. Let's say if they go 6-11. That's a really good season for a horrible team that was last year.
100%. I mean, look, here's the thing. Don't sleep on this defense. You bring in Rob Saleh, and they brought in some pieces. Okay, they brought in Alante Taylor, Cordell Fott for the secondary. And then they brought in 2 guys, John Franklin Myers and Jermaine Johnson. This defensive line is going to get after the quarterback. And like I said, you bring in a defensive head coach like this, I'm excited to see this defense. I think this defense could win them some games. And that being said, I'm taking the over 6.5. I think they're going to.
You think they're gonna have 7 wins? You think?
I think they have 7 wins. There is, and if you look at their schedule, obviously they play everyone in the division twice, but there is some winnable games on this schedule as well. So there's a reason this number is at 6.5. But look, yeah, like I said, I'm high on the Titans this year. I do think with the new system, Cam Ward's going to take a leap as well. So give me the over. All right, now it's time to talk about the division. Who's going to win the division? I said my winner earlier. I said the Texans are going to win this division. I do think they're going to end with 10 wins and win. You like the Jaguars.
Yes, I do. And it's not because of the Houston defense. The Houston defense is gonna be top 2, probably. I was gonna say top 3, probably top 2 in the league. But if we could all look back, there's a school that CJ Stroud went to, Ohio State. Name me an Ohio State quarterback that has done anything in the league. I just can't trust him. I'm not sold on CJ Stroud. I thought he may be great rookie of the year, freshman. Oh, fantastic. Then he had what we all call the sophomore slump. But now he's in a junior slump, maybe transferring to a different high school or whatever. Or I don't even think he's going to get his GED the way he's been playing quarterback. I just can't trust it. Unless the Texans are going to score 14 points a game on defense, give me the Jags and Trevor Lawrence.
No, it's fair. I mean, look, the reality is when it comes to CJ Stroud, like I said, I expect a better year from him, so I'm taking the Texans to win the division because that defense, like you said, it's going to be top 2 in the league. But when it comes to CJ Stroud, if he doesn't perform this year, his job's done. Would you agree with that statement?
Oh, yeah. I mean, people wanted his job out last year, and they stuck with him this year, so I definitely. But one thing about yours, getting the Houston Texans still at plus money, getting both Houston and Jacksonville. I'm a fan of Danny Dimes. He played well. I want to see who he comes back from an injury. We all could agree that Tennessee is not going to win a division. So you're trying to tell me the top 2 teams in the division are plus money. If you really think about the way the Texans defense, this number should be, I would say maybe minus 105. Even money, I would be okay with it. That is telling, I'm going to speak on an odds maker point of view. We are telling you guys, the bettors, that we are getting really good action on the Jacksonville Jaguars and Indianapolis Colts that still throw a plus money to a team that had a nasty defense. So this is, if you like Houston to win the division, it's a great price.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point as well. I mean, when you narrow it down, the Colts and Titans aren't going to win the division. Realistically, Colts aren't winning it. So, I mean, when you're getting this value at plus 119 and then plus 218 for the Jags, I mean, both are good bets in theory. Well, that's a wrap on the AFC South, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Ralph, we had differing opinions. We'll see how it plays out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next video where we talk about the AFC North. See you then.